Hi Bella, it's Carly, and I wanted to make you some video piano lessons so that you could probably not see very much, but listen to how some of the pieces sound and listen to the rhythm and the key signature, and maybe it will help you a little bit with your practice and with the fingering. So if I'm not around, you'll be able to have a lesson, and after I've sent this to you or to your mum or put it on your iPad, then the next time I see you after that, I hope that you will listen to this lesson, because I'm going to be asking you some questions about it. And we're going to look at your piece called Vite, which we started learning in our last lesson, but that was before Christmas, so I'm not sure how much you've remembered, and it's okay if we need to go back to the start. But you have a photocopy of Vite in your blue folder, and it does have some handwritten notes on it with, I think, some timing and some fingering that I've put on there for you. So you'll be able to get that out and have a look, and it might jog your memory, and have a go on your keyboard. If you can't remember where the notes are or anything like that, that's okay. I just want you to at least listen to some of the music here and get the sound of the song in your head. And that will help then when we do have our lesson in person, and I'll be able to help you find where the notes are if you're not able to find them. Because, yeah, I just ask that you try and that you listen and try your best. And if you need help, then just ask me for help, because that's why you're my best student, because you just have a go at everything I ask you to do, even really, really hard things. You just have a go, and then if you can't do them, you just ask for help, and you don't get upset and frustrated when you can't do it. You just keep on practicing, and that's why you're my superstar. So maybe I'm already telling you things I've already told you, and you don't need to hear them again. So that's just lucky for you to get an easy lesson this week. Or if it's a bit fast and you can't keep up with what I'm doing on the video, that's okay, because we're going to go over it at your lesson. But I really, for the most part, I want you to just hear how it sounds, and to talk a little bit about the way that we want to make the piece sound, and yeah, to see if you find it helpful to have a video lesson, because we often run out of time to have our proper lessons, especially in the school term. So I thought you might like to learn from some videos. Okay, but I know you can't see very well of the keys and you can't see the music, but you should have a photocopy in your folder. But we're just going to do the best with what we have, and even if you just close your eyes and listen, that would be great. It would give you a good head start to hear how the song goes. So I'm going to go over the first 4 bars, which we've already learned. And if you actually look at the piece, the last 4 bars and the first 4 bars are exactly the same notes and exactly the same fingering. The only thing that's a bit different is that where they want you to be loud and soft and things like that, which we can put in at the end. What we really need to learn first is the notes and the timing and the fingering. And the fingering is important to learn from the start. If you try and learn I used to learn it with the wrong fingering all the time when I was first starting to do preliminary. And I'd be really proud of myself, because I'd go to my teacher's lesson and I would play everything I'd learned, all the notes and the timing, but all my fingers would be all tangled up all over the place, and then I'd have to learn the song all over again with the correct fingering, and that was very frustrating. So if you do learn anything from the start, then pay attention to the fingering, because it will save you trouble later on. But things like making it loud and soft, that can come later. It's a lot easier to learn a piece when you're playing it loudly, so we can learn it loudly, and then when it comes to polishing it for the end, we can start to make it soft where it needs to be soft, and that's the kind of thing that's going to get you top marks in the exam. You'll get really good marks if you play all the right notes at the right timing, but if you play it loud where they say loud and soft where they say soft, that's what's going to get you A+ superstar marks. So that's why I'm going to make sure that we're going to really concentrate on that. But it all takes time, so we're just going to start at the beginning. It actually suggests in the back of the book that you learn the left hand first, although we've already started with the right hand, so we're just going to continue with the right hand. I prefer to learn the right hand first in most of my pieces, but I think it's quite individual. It doesn't really matter, as long as at this stage I'd like you to learn all your pieces separately and then put them together. So we'll start with the right hand, because we did learn it before Christmas at our lesson. So I'm going to play it first, just the first 4 bars and just the right hand, and then I'm going to talk to you a bit about the fingering and things like that. Okay, so hopefully you're going to remember. It should sound something like this. spelling mistake there, as you could see, because my fingers got tangled up and I had to pause in the middle, which is why I should pay more attention to the fingering. So it's in 3/4 timing, and I'm going to count the timing out now as I play, and I really encourage you when you're practicing to do the same thing, because I could never do that when I was learning preliminary, but you are very good at being able to count the rhythm out while you're playing, and it will really help you if you're able to listen and hear and count out the rhythm. So it goes like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and... Okay, so I got the fingering right this time. So we can see that the first bar, which is 1 and 2 and 3 and... it's got groups of 3 notes. So you're using your 2, 3 and 4 finger. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. And we're starting on F sharp, and it's the F above middle C. So we have middle C here, and then D, E, F, oops, sorry, C, D, E, F, and then we're going to the sharp note, which is the black note above the F. And if you want a flat note, it's the black note below, because if you have a flat tire, your tire goes down. So you go down the keyboard for a flat note, and a sharp note goes up because it just does. So the thing we can also see in this song is it's written in D major, and we know this because it ends on a D note or a D chord, and we also know from the key signature, and if you grab out your photocopy, you'll see there's 2 sharp signs at the beginning, and that means that F and C are not played in this piece. If there's an F or a C written down, we need to play C sharp and F sharp instead of C and F. And you'll see, I can't remember how far we've gotten in our scales. I'm just going to take a break and talk about your scales for a minute. It's a very disorganized lesson, but I know we've learnt C scale, which is where we start with our right hand. We start with our thumb on C, and we go from C to C like this, and then back down again. And I'm not sure if I've taught you D major yet, which you will need to learn for your exam. So if I haven't taught you, I'm going to teach you at your next lesson. D major goes like this. So you can hear it sounds like C major. It's got the same pattern, and that's important to recognize that pattern, because they might ask you about that in your exam, especially as you get to more higher grades. But the thing with the D is we're starting on D and ending on D, same as C scale, but C scale has no black notes. C scale, like this on the C, is just white notes. On the D scale, instead of F, we play F sharp. So we don't play F and F sharp. We play D, E, we miss F and go to F sharp. Then we play G, A, B, we miss C and go to C sharp, and then we go to D. So all the notes are white except for the F, which is sharp, and the C, which is sharp, and when we do it that way, it sounds like this. And that's one of the things that you're going to need to remember about your scales, and we're going to learn a scale every couple of weeks or so, so you're going to have a lot of time to think about them and remember what they are and practice them. But C scale has got no sharps or flats, no black notes, and D major scale has got F sharp and C sharp. And when you look at this piece in D major, you can see a sharp on the F line and a sharp on the C, and that means that F and C are played sharp, and it means that it's in D major, which they're probably not going to ask you in preliminary, but I like to teach you right from the start all these wonderful things so that you'll be ahead of everybody else. So, we're in D major. Okay, our fingering, this is the tricky bit. I'm going to play it, I might play it an octave lower, so maybe you can see better, maybe you can't. No, that might be too confusing. Okay, never mind, I'll just play it up here. So we're using 2, 3, 4, which is F sharp, G and A, so they're notes right after each other, F sharp, G, A. We want to hit the B next, which is right next to the A, but I don't want to use my pinky because then I'm going to run out of fingers. So they want me to do 2, 3, 4, hit the next note, but jump to it with my 2. So I play 2, 3, 4, lift my hand off and go to the B, which is the very next note, which you can't see very well, and then play 2, 3, 4, and I want the next note now, which is E, but I need to jump again. So it's F, G, A, F sharp, sorry, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, and then E, F sharp, G. So all the notes are in a row, it's just our fingering that's jumping, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. And one good thing about that fingering, it's repetitive, and it happens in several bars over the piece, so we can get into a real pattern with that. But the other thing is it helps with the slurs, and when we look at the slurs in the first bar, they want the first 3 notes to sound like they're a little bit joined together, and then a little bit of a break for the next 3, and then those 3 joined together, and then the last 3 joined together. But not... It's not about playing them faster or having a pause, because we don't want to upset the timing. The timing just has to go 1 and 2 and 3, and we don't want to slow that down or speed that up. But we just want these notes to sound smooth and connected. The first 3 need to be smooth to each other, and then a break, so that the next 3 are joined to themselves, if that makes sense, and then a break, so these 3 are joined. Instead of playing it like this, where they're all joined together, we want to have a real distinct gap between 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And that's something that's really tricky to learn. I still have trouble with the slurs in the pieces that my teacher is teaching me at the moment. When I was in preliminary, I could not even hear the difference between when my teacher was playing the slurs and when she wasn't, and it took me a lot of years to learn it. So I don't expect you to be able to do it perfectly, or I don't even expect you to be able to hear the difference. I just want you to try and listen to what I'm saying and try and have a go for yourself, and that's all that I'm asking. So we want these 3 to sound nice and smooth. So instead of being really abrupt like that, we want them to be nice and joined. Instead of, we want, and I just want you to have a go at trying that for yourself. Really smooth. Because I know the notes are easy for you, and even if you've forgotten them over Christmas, I know that you already learned them once and you can learn them again. So what we need to work on now is making it sound joined and not joined in the places they want. So they want this one slurred, 1 and slurred together, and then 2 and 3 and... So that's what they're wanting. That's quite straightforward. The next bar, they want the 2 notes slurred together. So the first 2 notes slurred, the next 2 and the next 2. So these ones are in groups of 3, which is much easier to remember. These ones, they want you to go those 2 slurred and then a break, and then these 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, instead of... Now the other thing with this next bar, the second bar, is there's a tricky fingering which we learned before Christmas, but I'm going to go over it again. So one of the things I found tricky when I was learning this piece a long time ago was I was very good at doing this bit, and then I would get stuck and I would have to pause for a minute and find my finger and find the E and find where I was going, and that's something I really needed to practice, was jumping from the last note, which is here, which is my 4 on this one, and then getting my E, my pinky on the E. So that's something that you need to practice, not stopping in between once you've got the notes down. So once we've worked out to get our pinky on the E, and we need to go E to E, C sharp, A, and the second A, we need to swap our finger, because if I have the first A, first we use our pinky, our 3, and our 2. So we've used our 2 on A, and this first A is slurred with the C. So the E and the first C sharp are slurred together. That's E and C sharp, and then C sharp in the first A. And then there's luckily a little break, so you can swap to your 4, and then your 3 on the G, because you need to have your 2 ready to go on the F sharp, and that's the reason they do it. So we need these 2 together, and then these 2.